appeal is a big deal. When people drive up to your house, you want to make sure your exterior matches the interior, and it looks good. It should be beautiful. It should match your personality and your home's personality as well.
Unless your personality is a little crazy, then tone it down.
Then no.
But yes, I drive by houses all the time, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they really need to do something with that. I want to stick like notes in people's mailboxes when I go for walks.
Just try this paint color instead, would you? Put it right up on the door. And a sprinkler.
That and a sprinkler.
Yes, yeah, for sure. So there are certain things you can do to your exterior to really bump it up. And you know what? It doesn't take a lot. Sometimes it's paint on the door. Sometimes it's just looking at the accessories. And we'll show you two ways to do it, traditional and more
contemporary. We've got a traditional one and a modern one. So this is a traditional red brick. And often I love, with a traditional red brick house, a dark black door.
Me too.
But I've changed this one up to a deep, deep charcoal-y blue. This is called Witching Hour by Brian Moore. It's such a beautiful color. We did it in a very low sheen, almost like a matte finish. And I love it. It's still traditional, but it has a little bit of pizzazz to it, a little color.
To it.
And then transitional light fixtures, again, to modernize it. They're a lantern shape, but they're not a complete lantern. And when you're doing fixtures like this, try to get lanterns that have open bottoms, so you don't have all the insects sitting inside.
Oh yeah,
of your
that's
fixture.
true. That's gross.
Because it's quite a to-do to clean them. So if you have fixtures that are up high or by garages, above a garage door that's hard to reach, have an open bottom. This is neat because it has the opaque glass, so you don't see the light bulb. Some people don't want to see the light bulb. But we'll talk about that on the other one. And then we did a more traditional planter, the iron with the lattice. Aren't these beautiful?
Gorgeous.
And this is a mixture of real and artificial. So these are from Sheridan Nursery. The light fixtures are from Home Depot. So we did a topiary ball that is artificial, but we did real flowers and real ivy.
I love that.
So you don't want it all artificial because it's really, you don't want to do that. So you can mix them up.
You want a little bit of real.
You don't want to do. Did I say you don't want to do that?
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't do that.
The only problem is when I go real, which is what I always do, they die. So make sure you know if it's full sun, full shade, and what you're getting in these planters, because
correct. So this is easy to, for people that really don't want to be clipping the ball, and maybe they don't have enough sun. You can use the artificial one, but they look much more real if you use the real flowers and the real ivy. And you can keep this all year round and do pine cones around it in the winter and things like that. So really you don't have to get rid of everything in the planter, but all you'll change is this. And then I like the cocoa mats, the traditional cocoa mats with patterns on them for a traditional facade.
So this is gorgeous for traditional. Let's bump it up and let's see what you might want when you're looking at a more contemporary space. This is right up my alley.
So this is a little
I love these. I love the planters.
Okay, so what we did here is we painted the brick. So this is where, and I love painted brick houses.
Me too.
You just have to do it properly. The house has to be clean, power washed, painted. When Sharon's on, we'll have to talk to her about how to do that. But I've had all my first house and my second house had painted brick when I bought. All I wanted was a red brick house. I never got one. I always had a painted brick, but I love painted brick houses. And then we did a Van Cortlandt blue, which is this beautiful soft blue with this gray blue brick. The lantern's a little more modern. When you're doing fixtures that have exposed bulbs, do clear bulbs. Don't do frosted bulbs because they look like big balls. Or do, there's so many decorative light bulbs. You can do like chandelier light bulbs that almost look like candles, and you can stick them in there.
That's true.
And then the more contemporary planters and a little more height. Do some of the grasses.
So the grasses are huge. A lot of people are doing this for contemporary. I don't know how these. I don't know if these are a little bit more easier to maintain, but I've heard that they are.
Very easy to maintain.
Which is good news.
And then a faux wood mat is really plastic, but it looks like wood. So that's great. But quite a difference, but still classic. Like this is modern, but this isn't so trendy that next year you're going to look at it and go, what was I thinking? It's still, you could even use these planters with the traditional exterior if you wanted to hip it up. But I love these modern lanterns. They still give the look of a lantern, but a little more contemporary. I
love it. And you're not going to be that house on the block where everybody stands back and says, whoa, that house looks way different than everything else. There's one house that's just a square block with like windows. This looks great. It's contemporary. It's gorgeous. Let's take a look back at the traditional facade we just showed so you can see the difference.
And that has the brass hardware. And then this has the brushed nickel.
So little differences. And there are all these little beautiful things you can get, the bells, the handles, the knockers.
That's beautiful nickel doorbell. Look how pretty that is. Or the door knocker.
Yeah, I love that. So there's two ways you can try and do your exterior and bump up your curb appeal. It really should.